Now we're ready to try out a motion tween, which is a lot more efficient and a lot less tedious than frame-by-frame animation. We will have to set our helicopter up first, so let's take a look at the requirements for a motion tween. Now, first of all, the item needs to be in a layer by itself. And since we're going to animate the whole helicopter, and it's already got its own layer, we're good on that point. But the second point, it needs to be either a symbol or a text field. Now, we haven't had a chance to work with text field yet. We will soon, but that leaves a symbol. First, we need to make sure all the chopper parts are selected, and we can do that pretty quickly just by clicking on the keyframe that contains them all. Then we can go up to Modify and choose Convert to Symbol. Notice the keyboard shortcut for this is F8, so you can press that anytime you want to make a symbol in the future. We need to give our symbol a name, something simple like helicopter. And then we need to choose the symbol type. Now, we're not going to be using buttons till later in the chapters, and for right now I'm going to pick movie clips. Then we need to select a registration point. Now, when we're animating things, the registration point is going to be a lot more important, because it'll basically be the center of anything you do to the object. For instance, the center of rotation or the center of scaling. So I'm going to set it right in the middle of our helicopter here. Let's click OK, and now our helicopter is a movie clip symbol. As you can see over here in the Properties window, they actually have a lot more properties than some of the other object types we've been working on so far. They're reusable, as we said in the earlier chapter. There you can see our helicopter in the library ready to be dragged out. And best of all, it's ready for a motion tween. We've got our movie clip in a layer by itself. And all we need to do, since we already have it selected, is go up to the Insert menu and choose Motion Tween. Now you can see a motion tween because it turns blue in the timeline. It's very easy to spot. And also, the layer itself changes. Now you won't be able to draw anything into this layer anymore because it's reserved for our motion tween. So far, it's kind of a boring tween because we only have one keyframe. We can move the helicopter around, but all we're doing is changing the start position. Movie clips are pretty easy to work with though because they'll actually create all the rest of the keyframes for you. All you have to do is move the playhead to the time where you want the change to be made. So let's move our playhead to the end of the animation, and we'll say we want our helicopter to end over on the left side of the stage. So we'll just drag it right on over there. Now you'll notice that the tween has already created a path from the starting and ending points, and it's already calculated all the movements of the helicopter. In fact, if you grab the playhead and move it back, you can watch the animation playing backwards and forwards. If you move the playhead to either one of the keyframe locations and make a change, you can see that the animation is automatically updated. So it's pretty easy to get exactly the movement you want. Now if you want to see the animation playing back at full speed, go up to the Control menu and you can select Play. There we're seeing how our helicopter moves at the original frame rate of the movie of 24 frames per second. Now, if you're trying to control the speed of the animation, for instance, if you wanted the helicopter to slow down, you might want to reach for this frame rate and just change that. But actually what the frame rate controls is the smoothness of the movie, not necessarily the speed. Let's take a look. If I drop the frame rate all the way down to, let's say, 7 or 8 frames per second, and I play the movie again, the helicopter does move slower, but you can see all the individual movements since we only have 8 frames per second. To make your movie play smoothly, you should keep the frame rate at least 20 and probably closer to 30. I'm just going to click on ours and set it to 30 right now. We can type that in and hit enter. And let's see what it looks like at the 30 frame per second rate. Much smoother and pretty good looking. Now, if you want to change the speed of the helicopter, what you really should do is change the number of frames that you give it to move. It's much easier. In fact, you can grab a hold of the end of your motion tween. You can see the cursor changes when I get close to the end, and you can just change the number of frames by sliding it left or right. With fewer frames, the helicopter moves more per frame, and it seems to move faster. So if you want it to look really fast, just give it a lower number of frames. Let's see what it looks like. I'll go up to the Control menu, I'll choose Rewind, and then we'll go back and choose Play. And you can see the helicopter is much faster. Now, of course, if you want things to slow down, just give it more frames.